Welcome to my channel, Sella Buzz. He was huge. Nancy Kulp tells everything in her book. Nancy Kulp was born Nancy Jane Kulp on August 28, 1921, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, USA. She was the only child of Marjorie and Robert Tilden Kulp. Growing up as an only child meant that Nancy was really close to her mom and dad, who both taught her different things that helped shape who she became. Her mom, Marjorie, was a strong and hard-working teacher who worked first as a school teacher before becoming a principal. From her mom, Nancy learned to love learning, to be disciplined, and to understand how important school is. Her dad, Robert, worked as a traveling salesman, which meant he had to travel on the road for long times. From him, she learned to be independent and to adapt to new things, skills that would help her later when she served her country and when she became an actress. Together, her parents made a loving home where Nancy's curiosity and determination could grow strong. Kulp's school path started at Florida State University, which back then was called the Florida State College for Women. She decided to study journalism, a subject that let her combine her love of writing with her interest in people and their stories. She worked really hard in her studies and finished in 1943 with a bachelor's degree in journalism, right during World War II. During her college years, and right after, she worked as a writer for the Miami Beach Tropics, a local newspaper that wrote about cultural and social events in the Miami area. This job not only gave her good writing experience, but also introduced her to the world of entertainment and famous people, sparking an interest that would later guide her toward Hollywood. After finishing college, Nancy kept going to school at the University of Miami, making her brain skills even sharper. But the pull of the ongoing Second World War was too strong to ignore. Like many young Americans back then, she felt she had to help with the war. She left her studies to join the United States Naval Reserve, joining the women's part called Waves. Women accepted for volunteer emergency service. Her choice was both brave and patriotic, since women in the military were still pretty new and faced special challenges. Nancy did great during her service, earning respect from her friends and bosses. She got many awards and praise for her work, proving she was not only good at her job, but really dedicated too. After the war ended, she was honorably let go in 1946, having proudly served her country during one of the most crazy times in history. After her military service, Nancy Kulp started to explore a new career path. By 1951, she had entered the world of acting, making her first movie in The Model and the Marriage Broker. Though it was a small part, it marked the start of a long and different career in Hollywood. The next year she got parts in The Marrying Kind and Steel Town, slowly getting more notice. Not long after, she got a role in the comedy musical sports movie The Caddy, where she played Emma. This show showed off her comedic timing and skill for supporting roles, things that would soon become what she was known for. In 1954, Nancy's career took a step forward when she was chosen as a maid in the romantic comedy Sabrina, starring Audrey Hepburn, Humphrey Bogart, and William Holden. The movie was a huge hit, and even though her role was small, it gave Nancy really good exposure. The movie, adapted from Samuel A. Taylor's play Sabrina Fair, became a classic, and Kulp's presence in such a fancy production helped build her reputation as a reliable character actress. That same year, she also guest starred in TV dramas like Topper and December Bride, starting to branch out into the quickly growing medium of television. Her TV career got stronger in 1955 when she joined the cast of The Bob Cummings Show as Pamela Livingstone, a role that made her a face people could recognize. Pamela was quirky and smart, traits that Kulp played with warmth and humor. That same year, she also appeared in several notable movies, including The Shrike, Not as a Stranger, You're Never Too Young, and Count 3 and Pray. At the same time, she was busy guest starring in many TV shows like It's a Great Life, Svengali, and The Blonde, Schlitz Playhouse, and General Electric Theater. Her ability to do many different things and work hard quickly made her a familiar face on both movies and TV. In the late 1950s, specifically between 1956 and 1957, Nancy Kulp got repeating roles in two well-known TV shows, Our Miss Brooks and Date with the Angels. These roles let her develop her comedic style more, which leaned toward weird but lovable characters. At the same time, she kept appearing in movies, including Anything Goes, God Is My Partner, The Three Faces of Eve, Shootout at Medicine Band, and Kiss Them for Me. By this point, she had firmly made herself one of Hollywood's go-to supporting actresses. From 1958 to 1961, Nancy was super busy with TV work. She appeared in episodes of popular shows like Colgate Theater, The Real McCoys, 77 Sunset Strip, Playhouse 90, Sunday Showcase, Bourbon Street Beat, Shirley Temple Storybook, Mr. Ed, and the Jack Benny Program. Her ability to adapt to many different types of shows from comedy to drama made her a wanted actress. She also acted in several movies during this time, balancing both careers with ease. In the 1960s, Nancy Kulp shifted her focus more toward movies. She appeared in comedies like Who's Minding the Store with Jerry Lewis, The Patsy, and Strange, Bedfellows. She also showed her range by acting in the Western adventure movie The Night of the Grizzly. In the 1970s, she moved back to TV, taking on the role of Mrs. Gruber in the sitcom The Brian Keith Show in 1973, which ran for 2 seasons, and let her once again show her comedic skills in a regular role. From 1978 through 1989, Kulp stayed active in the entertainment world by guest starring on many TV shows. Her appearances included popular series like The Love Boat, Chips, Fantasy Island, Simon and Simon, Scarecrow and Mrs. King, Quantum Leap, and the ABC After School Special. She also played her role again in Return of the Beverly Hillbillies and appeared in The Wilder Summer. Each of these roles, though sometimes small, reminded people of her lasting charm and talent. Outside of acting, Nancy Kulp was also deeply involved in politics. In 1984, after years of working with the Democratic State Committee in Pennsylvania, she made the bold choice to run for public office. She became the Democratic nominee for Pennsylvania's 9th Congressional District in the United States House of Representatives. Running without opposition in the Democratic primary, she campaigned on issues that showed her values, including education and social welfare. Although she finally lost the general election to the Republican incumbent, her candidacy was proof of her courage and dedication to public service. After her political tries, Nancy Kulp returned to her roots in education. She took on the role of artist-in-residence at Juniata College, a private liberal arts school in Pennsylvania. There, she combined her experience in acting with her passion for teaching, eventually teaching classes in acting and theater. Students admired her for her wisdom, humor, and the depth of experience she brought to the classroom. Her later years were spent helping to shape the next group of performers, leaving behind a legacy not only as an actress, but also as an educator and mentor. Nancy Kulp, who had long been admired for her wit, intelligence, and distinctive presence on screen, entered a big chapter of her personal life when she married Charles Malcolm Duss on April 1, 1951, in Dade County, Florida. This union happening in the early years of her adult life represented a hopeful beginning as she looked for both companionship and stability. The marriage, however, would last a decade, ending in divorce in 1961, a period that likely showed both personal differences and the challenges of balancing personal dreams with the demands of careers and life situations at the time. Despite the end of her marriage, Kulp's life did not lose speed. Rather, it became a period of self-reinvention and exploration. After retiring from her long and varied careers in both acting and teaching, Kulp started a new chapter focused on personal fulfillment and community engagement. She first moved to a farm in Connecticut, embracing the peace and simplicity of rural life. This shift to the countryside let her connect with nature, enjoy the quiet rhythm of farm living, and perhaps find a sense of grounding after years in the public eye. The move also symbolized a conscious decision to step away from the intense watching of Hollywood and academia, and to grow a lifestyle that showed her personal values and interests. Later, Kulp moved to Palm Springs, California, a community known for its vibrant cultural scene and active charitable environment. In Palm Springs, she immersed herself in charitable work, dedicating time and energy to several organizations that matched her passions. She became actively involved with the Humane Society of the Desert, showing her deep commitment to the welfare of animals. In addition, she contributed to the Desert Theater League, supporting the performing arts and helping local theatrical talent, showing her lifelong connection to the world of performance and her desire to give back to the artistic community. Kulp also supported United Cerebral Palsy, advocating for individuals with disabilities and lending her voice and resources to improve the quality of life for those in need. Through these efforts, Nancy Kulp showed a post-retirement life that was rich in service, empathy, and cultural engagement, leaving a legacy not only as an accomplished actress and educator, but also as a dedicated philanthropist who continued to touch the lives of many through her charitable work. When Nancy Kulp decided to finally put pen to paper and look back over the eccentric, dazzling, and sometimes shocking figures she had met throughout her career, one name stood out among the brightest: Redd Foxx. She could not write a page about the comedy world of the 1960s and 70s without talking about him. To Nancy, he was not just a performer, not just a man who told jokes that walked the razor's edge between brilliance and vulgarity. He was, in her own words, massive. By massive, Nancy didn't only mean in the obvious sense of fame and reputation. She meant it in a larger-than-life way. Fox was the sort of man who could walk into a room and immediately get attention without even speaking. His laugh carried across studio lots. His presence filled a room, and his humor could cut through the stuffiest Hollywood atmosphere. For Nancy, who had often been typecast as the prim, proper Miss Jane Hathaway on the Beverly Hillbillies, Fox was like the complete opposite. Wild, untamed, daring, and totally fearless in his comedy. Nancy remembered the first time she met him on a set visit during the height of Sanford and Son's popularity. The show was groundbreaking, a sitcom that wasn't afraid to lean into sharp social commentary and showcase Black life in a way that American television had rarely tried before. To Nancy, the energy on that set was electric. Redd was the heartbeat of the show, firing off jokes between takes, pushing boundaries with his castmates, and refusing to let anyone forget that this was his turf. She admitted in her book that she was stunned not just by his comedic genius, but also by the raw magnetism he carried off camera. He was massive, she wrote, in personality, in voice, in confidence. There was no dimming that star. He burned too brightly. But she also hinted that the phrase had a double meaning. Redd Foxx's reputation among women in Hollywood was legendary, whispered in green rooms and cocktail parties, a kind of inside joke that floated around the industry. Nancy, never one to shy away from frankness in her later years, confessed that she too had heard and even personally witnessed the aura of that reputation. In the Sanford and Son era, Redd Foxx was making TV history. Nancy described him as a pioneer who bulldozed through barriers with a smirk and a cigarette dangling from his lip. His timing, his wit, and his willingness to tackle taboo subjects made him massive in the comedy world. But for Nancy, watching him work was also a revelation. Here was a man who refused to be boxed in by society's expectations, who lived boldly, sometimes recklessly, but always authentically. Nancy, thinking with both awe and a bit of mischief, tied her confession back to her own career. She had often been pegged as the straight-laced character, but she admired Redd's refusal to play safe. He was massive, she repeated, because he showed the rest of us that you could be unapologetically yourself and still win over millions. Nancy Kulp, who had long been a cigarette smoker, a habit she kept for many years despite the well-known health risks associated with tobacco, was diagnosed with cancer in 1990. This diagnosis marked a dramatic and challenging period in her life, as she faced the realities of a serious and life-threatening illness while under the public eye, having spent decades in the entertainment industry. Following the diagnosis, Kulp underwent chemotherapy, a rigorous and physically taxing treatment designed to slow the progression of the disease. Chemotherapy, while sometimes effective in controlling cancer, often comes with a host of side effects, including fatigue, nausea, hair loss, and a general weakening of the body's immune system, all of which Kulp would have had to endure while dealing with the emotional toll of her illness. By 1991, unfortunately, the cancer had progressed and spread, signaling that the treatments were unable to halt its advance. This rapid progression underscored the aggressive nature of her illness and the fragility of her health at the time. On February 3, 1991, Nancy Kulp passed away at the age of 69 in Palm Desert, California, a city known for its serene desert landscapes and quiet, retirement-friendly communities. Her death brought an end to a remarkable life marked by memorable performances, particularly in television, where she had earned lasting acclaim for her roles in series like the Beverly Hillbillies. Following her death, Kulp's remains were buried at Westminster Presbyterian Cemetery in Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. This cemetery, situated in her home state, provided a peaceful resting place that allowed family, friends, and fans to honor her memory. The choice of Mifflintown reflects a return to her roots, linking her final resting place with the region that shaped her early life and formative years. Her burial there ensures that her legacy is preserved in a place connected to her personal history, far from the glitz of Hollywood, yet symbolically close to the community that first nurtured her aspirations.